Okay, so Marc, we've had lots of
Hello.
discussions now here at the European Development Days about engaging the private sector, working with the private sector. Yesterday there was a whole thing about value chains, working with multinational companies, and just now we just had a discussion which was kind of looking at the Central European experience and what that means for engaging the private sector. Coming from this cooperatives perspective as you do, what do you see as kind of what's missing maybe from the discussion here, from your angle? Because there hasn't been that much discussion of cooperatives as the way forward, right?
Yes, right, that's true. We had a few mentions actually so far only about cooperatives, and this is mainly when it comes to local private sector development, where there is actually really something where we can play a very favorable role.
And are playing it already, or?
Sorry?
And are you playing it already? I mean, are cooperatives a growing
definitely.
thing?
I would say we are probably a bit like very often we hear this phrase saying like we're a bit the sleeping giant. There are 1 billion of cooperative members actually around the world, which is not known, and very often we are not really creating enough visibility around our organizations, around the cooperative identity.
So you don't get the chance, or because you're too busy doing other things?
I guess we're improving on that, but of course cooperative enterprises, we are working according to certain principles like democratic participation, democratic ownership, etc. But even when cooperatives are working according to these principles, there is sometimes a lack of communication that they're actually cooperative enterprises.
I mean, would there be a way, for example, of cooperatives linking up with these sort of multinational projects that we talked about yesterday in value chains? I mean, do you see a way of cooperatives kind of fitting into this kind of discussion that we're having and the way that whole private sector discussion is going, or do you think it's another area that needs to be looked at as a separate entity?
Of course, when it comes to value chains, there are very good examples also of cooperatives, because cooperatives are organized in networks. It's a bit the secret weapon of cooperatives. Okay. It's like organizing themselves in networks, and like that also being able actually to fulfill the full supply chain from the production, from the agriculture, small producer cooperative to the consumer cooperative. In the north, in the south, north.
So would you be willing to kind of fit in? I mean, is there a way of kind of attaching that to other systems, or do you think that has to be the whole thing has to be?
Of course, cooperatives are not the only solution. So it's a part of a solution, and I would say it's like in any context there is a necessity for diversity of enterprises, and cooperatives are for sure a very good model of enterprise. And so what we are really advocating for and hoping for to see more in the future is a level playing field for cooperatives around the world.
And maybe as a last question, because the European Commission is preparing this communication which is going to come out next year, what would your suggestion be to them in terms of the role of cooperatives? What could they be doing to promote the use of cooperatives more?
For sure, actually work on that. When they talk a lot about enabling environment, which is a very good thing. But when it comes to enabling environment, also take into consideration that there are different models of enterprises, like cooperative enterprises, which are a specific type of enterprise and need therefore also a specific legal frame. Then, of course, is the whole support and reinforcement of the small producers, smallholder farmers. This is a very important aspect because many of them are organized actually in cooperative organizations. So these are actually the most important angles when it comes to the upcoming communication, yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.